Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wash, Rinse, and Repeat, where we're talking about brain hygiene and chronic pain. Now, a little context before we get started. The reason why I think this is a really important topic is that you are likely hearing messages that are really confusing and most likely very frustrating. So things that you just might be hearing are things like, it's all in your head, your pain, or just think happy thoughts or think positive thoughts to help you manage your pain. So those are just two of the killers, I call them, because they may be well-intentioned, but they're not at all giving you A, the right words to motivate, and B, they're not really explaining what it is that they mean. So you're left thinking it's all your fault. And really it's not. And so we're going to talk about brain hygiene in a way that hopefully gives you just a little bit of a fundamental around what is important to learn and perhaps what they are trying to say. I feel like I'm being a little bit of an interpreter. So we're going to get started. Bear with me for a second while I just get this technology all ready to go, and then we'll get started. Okay, welcome to Wash, Rinse, and Repeat. Okay, according to a nationwide survey conducted by the U.S. Pain Foundation from April 1st to 8th, and that's from this year, 2020, life has gotten much more difficult for people in chronic pain due to COVID-19. 63.8% of survey respondents said that they were experiencing increased pain as a result of COVID-19. 86.1% were experiencing more stress. And as we know, stress increases pain. 33.7% of respondents reported they rely on appointments that require in-person interaction, such as physical therapy and massage, which cannot be addressed through telehealth. 20.5% had surgery or other elective procedures canceled. Now that was for the first wave. Now that we're heading into our second wave, this just might be happening all over again. We know that pain and anxiety or depression are closely related. Anxiety and depression can cause pain, and pain can cause anxiety and depression. Sometimes pain and depression create this vicious cycle in which pain worsens symptoms of anxiety, and then the resulting depression worsens feelings of pain. Changing our thoughts in a time of uncertainty can feel really difficult, or worse yet, just not possible. Not to mention frustrating as you get lost in a sea of information and differing opinions as to what works and what doesn't. I get it, and I hear you loud and clear. It's not easy swimming in volatile waters. We can either sink or we can swim. We either work our way back to shore with intention, determination, and a salty brow, or we feel the heaviness of our thoughts that weigh us down and drag us out to sea. Which one resonates more with you right now? What if there's a way that you can turn those negative thoughts into something more self-serving, kinder, and more powerful in just minutes a day? What if we could find a way to work with those emotions rather than succumb to them? What if you could learn to swim confidently in those volatile waters with a simple thought-challenging process that you do throughout your day, just as if you were brushing your teeth or taking care of your skin? What if we could take care of our brains just like we do our bodies? Well, that is why I am here today, to encourage you to swim back to shore, to challenge our negative thoughts, and to have lasting impact on your pain experience. Let me introduce you to one of the powerful voices in our community. Her name is Michelle, and she is an incredible example of having experienced both sides of the storm, the chaos and the calm. With her blessings, I will share a bit of her story. So Michelle has experienced a multitude of health issues, pages and pages worth of challenges with her health that stemmed from a traumatic childhood, a painful marriage. She experiences fibromyalgia. She is a breast cancer survivor. She's had hip replacement, looking to have a knee replacement, back surgery, PTSD, and the list goes on. There have been many times when Michelle's pain tried very hard to take her in a negative direction, a place where self-sabotage could have been quite easy to do. Instead, Michelle has this tenacious spirit and innate wisdom to work hard to keep moving forward while fully appreciating that there will be storms along the way. She is the gal that has worked tirelessly to expand her toolbox and puts these tools into practice when the waters get rough. And they do get rough. And they are just like the waves in the ocean. They will come in swells and then they'll go. And so the more tools in our toolbox, and I'm sure you've heard that many times, so I apologize if it's overdone and redundant, but we want to be able to establish what it is you can do when the times get really tough. Okay, so let's get back to the task at hand here. I think you're going to enjoy the next 45 minutes or so, maybe 50 minutes, if you are ready to move through the layers of negative thoughts to change your relationship to pain. If you're ready to expand your pain management toolbox. If you're ready to desensitize your brain from the loud, overpowering pain voice that has become large and in charge. Because let's face it, the inner pain voice is really good at filling our head with negativity and outright lies. But on the flip side, our brains absolutely have the ability to create a healthy internal space when given the right tools and the environment in which to thrive. Let's give one of your most intricate organs, your brain, a little TLC. All right, so I promise teaching, and teaching I will do. If you be a good student, I'll be a good teacher. And that means turning off all distractions and here ready to learn. In the next 60 minutes, I'm going to share with you the quickest, most effective way to turn your thoughts around. And in that time, I'm going to show you the number one thing you can do to encourage a healthy brain when you first wake up. We're going to show you one powerful and easy tool you can use to help turn negative thoughts into more accurate thoughts with the ABCDE technique. And I love those two words. Turning negative thoughts into more accurate thoughts, okay? Again, we're not looking for Pollyanna. We're not looking for life to be full of rainbows and whatnot, but we are trying to become more realistic. We're trying to bring you more to center. I'm going to show you one simple tool to use before you go to bed to set you up for a better, more healing sleep. Then we pull it all together with the wash cycle. And as a little bonus for coming live, I'm going to give you my awesome Adversity Kit online course that will take what you've learned today and expand your pain management toolbox just a little bit more. And again, these are really meant to be small, digestible lessons so that it's not in any way overwhelming. This course will show you how to calm your nervous system in times of turmoil so you can confidently navigate the emotional and physical storms. So if you want a copy, please stick around to the very end where I'll tell you how you can get it, plus a little bit more information on what's coming next as well. All right, I am Dina Chopoulos, and I am a pain educator, certified wellness coach, and a remedial movement specialist. Pull this all together, and basically I am a pain coach, which sounds a little strange, but it works. It does. I'm the mother of 3 awesome kids. I'm married to a lovely man who also has his own pretty amazing health journey. And I have a dog. I hail from Ontario, Canada, and when I'm not educating about pain, I'll be outside with my feet in the grass or in the snow, depending on the time of year, because I am Canadian after all, or throwing stones into Lake Ontario, or just hanging out with my family. I am the chief curator and founder of Pain to Possibilities, the creator of the 5-day Reset and Restore online experience, and Project Hope, 7-week self-care mastery for chronic pain champions. Okay, a little bit of background here. In 1996, at the age of 24, my life changed forever. On the evening of July 6th, my mother said to me, "I can't do this anymore." I understood that she was under a lot of stress, but didn't fully appreciate to what extent. The next day, she passed suddenly from a massive stroke. As I age and continue to learn and grow in my profession, I understand just how many issues went undetected for her, and that led ultimately to her early death, and just how damaging stress can be on our biology. Flash forward to 2006, I left my amazing corporate wellness job to start my first adventure in entrepreneurship with Extension Pilates and wellness coaching, teaching remedial Pilates for those who live in pain and creating online courses as a wellness coach. It was fulfilling, but I knew that I wasn't making enough of an impact with my community members, much of whom were living with persistent pain, overwhelm, and for sure, frustration. And then in 2015, along came Michelle. As she bit by bit revealed her life story to me, it became clear that she had refined the art of being her own health advocate. It also became very clear how resilient her pain experience has truly made her. I needed to know more about her, how she managed things. And over the years, I feel as though I've become the student and she the teacher, because the more I got to know Michelle, the more I realized just how beautifully she is managing her pain. And I can honestly say that one of my favorite things about working with the chronic pain community is just how innately aware you guys are of your bodies. It's awe-inspiring, really. Okay, question for you. Raise your hand if you have been fortunate enough to meet that special person that is a chronic pain champion and that inspires you to be stronger, healthier. Or maybe you are that person. If you are fortunate enough to know someone like that, or if you are that person, what is it that you most admire about them or even about yourself? Now, I know it can be difficult to toot your own horn, but it is a very powerful exercise to go through. Think about it, and then maybe if you feel up to it, write it down somewhere. And finally, in 2017, when I witnessed my father's health quickly unravel, his many layers of health issues became so overwhelming that he lost the ability to self-advocate and eventually asked his kids to make his health decisions for him. It was then that I knew I wanted to work much more closely with those who are either feeling stuck, unwell, and overwhelmed, just like both my parents were. And what I have learned from Michelle and from many other clients of mine is that those who are truly managing their pain and thriving, at least as best as they can, have some very important things in common. It is with that moment that I realized, what if we could create a fundamental process or a cycle where we could wash, rinse, and repeat to truly navigate our pain through the inevitable highs and lows of pain. It is exactly what I witnessed Michelle do year in and year out. So in 2018, I launched Pain to Possibilities, an online transformational community for those living with persistent pain. And as you know all too well, pain is multidimensional, so we couldn't possibly address all of it in one 60-minute webinar. Today, we will be diving into just one of the elements that these successful people share, and that is brain hygiene. Putting the health of our brain on the same level of importance as other healthy habits, just like you brush your teeth, you move your limbs to stay strong, and you shower to stay clean and healthy. Brain hygiene is equally as important, most especially in these tumultuous times. So what is brain hygiene? When we talk about brain health, we can address both the physical, your brain's biology, chemistry, processes, etc. The stuff that we cannot always control. Although I would even argue that some of it is controllable, but we'll save that for another time. And then there's the emotional. Today's discussion will be focusing on the emotional. The emotional side is things that the words that we tell ourselves, our thoughts, and our beliefs, of which we can control with practice and with patience. But before we dive in, there is one really important detail that I want to announce loud and clear. And if you remember nothing else from this webinar, but this next point, it's an important one. 100% of the time, when we are talking about chronic pain, and not acute pain, because that's different, without a doubt, pain is both physical and emotional. And this is not just hearsay, this is the clinical evidence that's coming out. And that is why it makes pain increasingly complex, because much of the research that's coming out these days is showing us, or at least is moving us beyond the traditional thoughts of localized pain equaling damaged tissues to more of a biopsychosocial model, which states that pain is equally influenced by our biological, psychological, and our social environment. You might be feeling that overwhelm kicking in with the thought of another layer of things to consider when it comes to your health and pain management. But I am here today to show you that by adding just a few brain hygiene techniques throughout your day, you will help to reduce your pain, your emotional or physical pain, over time, help you make better decisions to support healthy behaviors, and to gain back a sense of control over your thoughts to shed the layers of negative thoughts that can often pile up with persistent pain. Okay, so let's just take a moment here to ask you one important question, because as a coach, I love thought-provoking questions. What would getting rid of negative thoughts do for you? How would you feel if you didn't have those negative thoughts rolling around in your head? What would that feel like? I know for myself and for my clients, there is a clearer sense of thinking, which makes it a whole lot easier to tackle the day. My clients can feel more hope, which sometimes it's very slight, but we will take every little bit that we can get. And maybe even if we're lucky, find more joy. And of course, some days are better than others in the day-to-day. Okay, so let's get into it. For any of you out there who have kids and who have heard themselves say to someone you love, if you say you can't, then you won't. Or you've given up even before you started trying. Or the one I hear a lot from my kids, nope, I don't want to try that food because I don't like it. So the last example is sort of what kids will tell themselves because they think they don't like it. The examples before that really more or less address the sort of things that people might be telling you. We're going to try and find a combination and see if you can start telling yourself the words that maybe other people might try to tell you. And this is why. These words or statements essentially set your brain to think that what you say is true. So if your brain is telling you you're not capable, or if your pain voice is telling you it's going to be awful, then unfortunately your brain thinks that's true. For our chronic pain community, words we say to ourselves either set us up for success or they send us down a painful rabbit hole. And this is all basic, not basic, it's pretty robust, but this all comes down to neuroscience and psychology. So here is tip number 1, waking brain hygiene. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, keep an open mind about this one, tell yourself, today is going to be a good day. Now, I know that can be extremely difficult when you have not slept because you are in a lot of pain, or you are thinking already, oh, good Lord, this is going to be a tough day. But we are not asking it to be great. We are simply telling our brain that it can be a good day. And I know this can be difficult, just like we mentioned. But this is a great example of how the power of words and how words matter and words can influence. Whether they are words spoken to someone else or they are words that we say to ourselves or we hear ourselves say, words have power. It's okay to think about the stress and the pain, to acknowledge it, to give it a quiet voice. But when you begin the day with the words or belief that it is possible to have a good day, then you are more capable of thinking about how you are going to manage the pain rather than feeling stuck in your pain. Okay, question for you. How many of you find yourselves waking up and telling yourself, today is going to be awful because of this pain? Or, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it through the day because of this pain. And by the way, it's not just our chronic pain community or our chronic pain champions that are learning how to change the words that you're choosing. It's also our clinicians and therapists and even coaches, myself alike, are having to choose more encouraging, more motivational, more positive words. So if you've ever been told that you're going to be in pain for the rest of your life, those are not encouraging words. Those are ones that you're going to be stuck with for a very long time. Okay, let's get back to an example. Let me introduce you to Mark, one of my clients, who I think is a good example and can help clarify the point I'm trying to make. Mark owns a business with about 200 employees across Canada. He's a father of 3 and he lives with a metabolic disorder. He does not live in chronic pain, but is affected by stress and poor mental hygiene, just like a chronic pain warrior would experience. He is a great example because although he doesn't live in persistent pain, he needs to use many of the same tools, especially during these tumultuous times, to manage his symptoms and protect his health. With the uncertainty of the economy with COVID-19, Mark is experiencing a fair amount of stress with the inevitable release of some of his employees. After he checks in with his emotions that morning, he tells himself that today is going to be a good day. Even with a hint of belief, it's important. Not because he is cruel or a heartless employer, but because he still has his eye on the big picture and is able to see the hope that he will be able to bring them back to the company once things start to turn around. As opposed to thinking about how difficult the day will be, his brain is already thinking about what and how things need to get done to bring those people back. Do you see what he did there? By challenging his negative thoughts, he was able to gain back some control of his emotional state so that he could remain focused on what he needed to do, both for the business and for his self-care. And he also started off the day with something more motivational, inspiring, positive than, oh my God, this day is going to be awful. So we know that words matter, especially the words that we tell us first thing in the morning, all day long, I would argue as well. And that words have power. And now we're going to tap into your inner lawyer. You know, those skills you utilize when you're negotiating with your kids or possibly coworkers, challenging their beliefs and working towards a resolution. Yes, those skills. It's the ability to question and to challenge our thoughts is a very powerful way to get rid of those negative, heavy, self-sabotaging thoughts. Well, why would you want to get rid of negative thoughts? Which is a bit of a silly question, but because negative thoughts can stack up throughout the day. And when negative thoughts start to stack up, stress hormones increase, which affects our mood centers of the brain, which ultimately drives negative emotions into negative behaviors, all of which works against us and creates more pain. So what are some of the typical negative thoughts that we tell ourselves or beliefs that we hold on to? How about, I'm broken. I'll never get better. Nothing will help. Or this was a big one. Pain equals physical damage. Can you relate to any of these statements or maybe even all of them? So how do we negotiate through those thoughts? How do we navigate our way through stacks and stacks of negative thoughts? Simply put, we are going to talk to ourselves rather than just listen to ourselves. And to do that, we will follow the simple ABCDE technique. All right, so let's break it down. A is for attention. Here, we begin by paying attention. It could also be for awareness. We need to start paying attention as to what is going on with our inner pain voice. When you feel distressed, stop what you are doing and pay attention to your inner voice. What is your mind telling you? And then write it down. B is for believe. Okay, do not automatically believe your thoughts. And remember, thoughts are just thoughts and nothing more. Challenge your thinking by asking yourself, do I know this to be 100% true? By the way, we have a term for this and it's called cognitive distortion. It's what we use to describe that inner pain voice. C is for challenge. Diffuse anxiety by broadening your focus and asking yourself, what is the bigger picture here? Is my thought fact or is it fiction? Is it 100% true? What might you feel like, or what might you think, pardon me, if you were feeling calmer? And D is for discount. If any of your current thoughts that you are challenging turn out to be untrue, then discount them and acknowledge that anxiety is what's causing the negativity or the pain. E is for explore. Explore your options. What would be helpful to focus on right now? What options do I have available? Let's bring Mark back into the story now, because he continues to be an amazing example of putting the ABCDE technique to work to reduce his body's response to stress. So at this point, Mark is feeling the stress not only for his employees, but for his family as well. Deep repressed thoughts of survivalism from his past have resurfaced with the threat of COVID-19. When Mark's thoughts start to take him down a dark path, such as my kids will all get sick, I'm worried about my employees' health and well-being, I'm worried that if I get sick with my metabolic disorder that I won't be able to fight it off. And these times, Mark writes down his emotions on paper and then asks himself if these things he's thinking are 100% true. He asks himself, what are the chances of me getting sick if I'm doing all that I can to social distance? And I know that can be tough because with COVID-19, there are no guarantees and no one can answer those questions. But there needs to be a sense of I'm doing things that I'm supposed to be doing and I am being careful. At a minimum, he asks himself, is this good for me? Is it good for my pain? Is it good for my brain? When his emotions become more difficult to handle, only then can he accurately assess and understand where he truly is in that moment. So he's not being dictated by fear, he's not being dictated by pain. He is finding more accurate, realistic, rational thinking to help him tackle the day. Let's recap. Talking to your brain and challenging those thoughts rather than just listening to those thoughts is a powerful way to gain back some control over those negative thoughts and emotions. Words we tell ourselves matter, especially first thing in the morning, and words have power. Sorry about that. That was a bit backwards. And now it's time to get ready for bed. It's the end of a long day and you're tired and ready to go to sleep. There is a long list of things you can do to prepare your body for sleep, but that is a whole other topic of discussion. For now, we are addressing just those negative thoughts that creep into your brain right before going to bed. All right, so bedtime brain hygiene, we're going to keep it really simple. For the same reason experts recommend turning off the news a good hour before you go to bed to help negate any negative images, conversations, or emotions, I recommend this next small but powerful tool. Once you are in bed, ask yourself the following question. What went well today? What was my small victory for today? This is an important one for a few reasons. First and foremost, it's an opportunity to recall the joys in your life and to reconnect with some positives of the day. Now, I know this can be a tough thing to do because if you've been living with chronic pain for quite some time, that inner pain voice does not allow you to recognize the goodness of the day. And there's got to be something small in there that we can reach for. But this is why this one is important. This simple act then sets your dreams up to be more positive so that you will spend more time in REM sleep where your body is most effective at healing and repairing. So by thinking something, connecting to something good within your day, transitions that brain enough to set your dreams up to be more positive so you can slide into that REM sleep a little bit more successfully. That is where, in that REM sleep, is the best time for your brain to download the memories of the day and to clean house, so to speak, and set your brain up for success for the next day. So just like my son who gets all worked up before bedtime when he starts to worry about the bad dreams or the interrupted sleep he might have, which ultimately prevents him from falling asleep, he will think only about the feeling he gets when those dreams happen, and that's that negative, fearful thought. It's on those nights that we spend a little extra time discussing the good parts of the day or watch a funny video clip on YouTube so that he can fall asleep thinking less of the worry and more about the positive. It is also important for him to challenge his own thoughts so that he has a little more control over the fear. Okay, here we go for our recap again. Words we tell ourselves matter, especially first thing in the morning. Words have power. Talking to your brain rather than just listening to it is a powerful way to gain back more control over your negative thoughts and emotions. Challenge your inner pain voice by asking it, is this 100% true? And recalling the good parts of the day before bedtime allows you to spend more time in your healing REM sleep. So who here could use a little bit more healing sleep? That might possibly be the worst question of the day. Everybody could use it, absolutely. And unfortunately, when you are challenged, sleep deprived because of pain, this is not going to fix it, but this is one small step that you can take. Okay, and to summarize all that we have learned today, I thought I would put our brain hygiene cycle to something familiar, something to help you remember that a healthy brain can be attained step by step, cycle by cycle, just like doing the laundry. I am sure there are many analogies we can use to help us remember, but for some reason this one just stuck with me. So let me explain. The cycle begins with our dirty, smelly, wrinkled, soiled clothing, which sounds an awful lot like our negative thoughts. We put these negative thoughts into the washing machine to start the process. First, we have our soak and soap cycle. This is where our emotions and maybe even our pain feels heavy at first as the water comes in and weighs things down. Then we get into the agitation cycle. And after receiving thoughts from our nervous system to say, I am feeling the weight of my thoughts or my current situation, this is the cycle where we might feel reluctant knowing it will take some effort and strength, but we get to work regardless, offering our brains words of encouragement, writing down our thoughts, challenging our thought patterns, observing, and questioning. As the soap starts to enter into the cycle, the sudsy bubble slowly starts to lift the dirt, allowing the clothing to feel a little lighter. This is where we transition from soiled and heavy to more hopeful. The belief that maybe by challenging our thoughts, our emotions, that we can start to decrease these negative thoughts and feel a little bit more control. Then we move on to the spin cycle, which represents the repetitive work of finding your groove while doing the work and shedding the dirt and the weight of your negative thoughts. Spinning accurate, reasonable thoughts back to your nervous system with the ABCDE. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. Spinning accurate, reasonable thoughts back to your nervous system with the ABCDE. Then we enter into the rinse cycle, where you feel a little lighter, a little more positive as you wash your brain clean of the layers of negative thoughts. It's here where you feel satisfied that your negative thoughts have washed down the drain. And visualizing that can also be really helpful too. And then you are ready for the dryer, which represents not only the end of the cycle, but the warmth, the calm, and the clarity that comes with moving beyond the stacks and stacks of negative thoughts. And remember, to get really good at this, to get good at any skill, you've got to practice it, or just wash, rinse, and repeat. Okay, so now that we know that, we're going to head into this I should tell you a couple things that we are not going to do. We're not going to start the day with negative thoughts. We're not going to let negative thoughts stack up during the day because they do become accumulative and far more damaging. We're not going to stew over the tough parts of the day before bed. We're not going to let negative thoughts affect our sleep. Instead, remember the wash, rinse, and repeat cycle and do good morning words, do ABCDE, write them down and challenge your thoughts. Do a bedtime review of small victories. And it all starts with not avoiding the work or denying the work that needs to be done, and acknowledge the pain voice is really good at lying. Instead, let's take a bring them on attitude. And just remember that fear stands not for fear everything and run. Instead, it should stand for, or does stand for, and we're going to say it stands for, face everything and rise. Of course, there is a lot more learning about pain management through mindset or brain hygiene. We've just got through 3 of my basic principles to effectively begin to navigate those negative thoughts that come with tumultuous times and how it can positively impact your pain experience. And obviously, there is a lot more in-depth content and a lot more proven brain hygiene exercises I would love to walk you through. So it's already, let me just see what time it is here. Oh, we got about 1:40 here. And unfortunately, we can only cover so much in the 40 minutes that we've been together. Even if it was a full hour, there is only so much we can cover. I did leave you with the steps you can take to at least get started. After all, little steps, big wins. But if you've valued this training and you know that the most effective way to keep this going is to join a group of people on the same path as you in a step-by-step experience to keep you motivated, then this next 5 minutes is for you. I've created a program that covers the fundamental building blocks to an effective pain management mindset in conjunction with or beyond the meds, and it is the same system I teach all of my clients. And I should tell you this, what's really important is it's free. Can I take you just a few minutes to share with what it is and see if my teaching might help you? And at the end of this, if you choose me to help you implement everything we go over, I would be truly honored. So if you're ready to get started implementing more techniques step by step and growing your pain management toolbox, then I'd like to invite you to join me inside our 5-day Reset and Restore online experience. Learn techniques to help you calm your harm alarm, aka your nervous system, so you can better navigate through the pain. Learn more fundamental pain management skill sets for coping with persistent pain so that you can take back some control. Know that you are taking actionable steps to help mitigate your pain with a group of like-minded people so that you can get on with your living in just minutes a day. We will take you through 5 easily digestible modules that take just 15 to 20 minutes a day where you will learn grounding techniques to help navigate the pain swell, how to calm the harm alarm and send positive pain-reducing messages back to your central nervous system, how to tap into your superhero powers with a detailed look at Superhero You, create your own pain recipe framework where you begin to identify what are your high pain ingredients and what are your low pain ingredients. And I get super charged about this exercise because it, first of all, is helping you become more aware. But more importantly, it starts to create a framework to work within. And it gives you clarity around what you can start doing on your own to really start gaining back some control. And it's pretty amazing to be able to say, I am doing something about it. And also to how the words you choose to listen to through daily affirmations can help switch your brain from pain to gain. And in the process, create your very own coping statement, something that you can use when times are tough. Because again, words have power, right? So you will get 5 modules of daily learning to try out in just 15 to 20 minutes per day. You'll get worksheets, and there just might be a bonus module in there somewhere. You'll gain group conversation within the challenge, okay, so that we can engage this group and work together. There will be 1 powerful scheduled group coaching call via Zoom to help you through some of the coaching elements that we go through. And of course, there'll be prizes for participation because who doesn't want to have some fun anyway? Awesome. And as a thank you for being here live and for getting to the end of this webinar, I'm going to be giving you, or at least talking about 2 big ticket items. The first one, I think you may have seen from your welcome package, but I'm giving you access to a free chronic pain adversity kit. This is an online course, very small, digestible, that will help you to tame the tides of uncertainty beyond what you have learned here today. Basically, it just takes things a little bit further. And then there is an opportunity to dive in even a little bit deeper than what we did today and add to your pain management toolbox in our 5-day reset and restore experience. Okay. This is an online experience that's different from anything else out there because it is the beginnings of a rounder, more robust approach to pain management beyond or in conjunction with the meds. It's also a powerful way to just start moving the needle in the healthier direction, more positive, self-serving direction, little step by little step. But why an online experience? This experience is simply meant to stoke the fire of motivation and awareness. We are living in unprecedented times where it's easier to become unmotivated, where fear and overwhelm may be sabotaging our attempts to live reasonably within our pain. So my question to you today is, if not now, then when? When is the right time to feel like you are taking actionable steps towards navigating your negative thoughts? When is the right time to finally feel like you have a little bit more control over your pain experience? When will you begin to feel a sense of pride that you are becoming more of your own health advocate by increasing your pain management toolbox bit by bit? When is the right time to bet on yourself? Well, it's time to take a leap of faith and dive in, because the 5-day reset and restore online experience is now open. Thank you so very much for being a part of this and getting all the way through. I hope this information serves you well, and I really look forward to serving you on a deeper level in our 5-day reset and restore online experience. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day.